Kesi za kupinga matokeo ya uchaguzi mkuu zimekuwa kama ada kila baada ya uchaguzi mkuu humu nchini. Mwaka huu mambo hayakuwa tofauti, kwani kinara wa Azimio Raila Odinga aliwasilisha kesi mahakamani kupinga ushindi wa Rais William Ruto wakati huo, huku kila mmoja akiandaa wataalamu wa kisheria kwa utetezi. Mwandishi wetu Serfine Achieng Ouma ameandaa makala maalum kuhusiana na sarakati, ghadhabu na mapambano ya kisheria yaliyoshuhudiwa kwenye mahakama ya upeo.
In accordance with the law, the constitution and the law, I, Wafula Chebukati.
Tarehe 15 mwezi Agosti mwaka 2022, mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi IEBC alimtangaza rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, William Samoei Ruto. Kwa mujibu wa IEBC, Ruto alimshinda mpinzani wake Raila Odinga ambaye alikuwa akipeperusha bendera ya chama cha Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya.
That was very surprising. There had been absolutely no indication that there was any possibility that even that UDA could win that election. Every poll, I think that everybody looked at in terms of the dynamics were very clear that this election had already been won by Raila Odinga.
Siku 7 baadaye, Raila Odinga na mgombea mwenza Martha Karua waliwasilisha kesi kupinga matokeo ya uchaguzi. Ni tukio lililopuliza kipenga cha vitimbi, viongozi wa Azimio la Umoja wakiongozwa na Raila Odinga wakiandamana gumosi gupili kuwasilisha stakabadhi za kupiga jeki kesi hiyo. Shehena la maboksi ya ushahidi liliwasilishwa kwa lori. Na safari hii alionekana kuwa na imani kuhusu ushahidi aliokuwa nao.
One of the things you have to do as a precautionary measure is to ensure that every document we think might come into play or we might make a reference to shall be available in court during the time of the hearing.
Hakuwa peke yake kupinga matokeo ya urais. Jumla ya kesi 9 ziliwasilishwa mahakamani, lakini baada ya ukaguzi wa majaji, kesi 2 zilitupiliwa mbali na 7 kujumuishwa kwa sababu ziliwiana.
In the history of our litigation, especially in the presidential election petition, we experienced the greatest number of petitions. But again, I would be quick to say that there seemed to have been, a very clear scheme to scatter our thoughts and concentrations by just bringing so many petitions which spoke of the same thing.
The Raila petition was both qualitative and quantitative, looking at the arithmetics of arriving at the numbers. Mine was not looking at the numbers, how you arrive at the numbers. So to try to say that these were pseudo petitions for Raila Odinga, that is to undermine the right of a Kenyan to seek access to justice.
Japokuwa viongozi hawa walikuwa wakijitayarisha kushinda uchaguzi mkuu wa urais, walikuwa pia wanajitayarisha katika kesi ya kupinga uchaguzi huo iwapo mambo yangeenda kinyume na matarajio yao.
It will surprise you to know that the legal team was actually put in place 2 months before the election. One in anticipation of a scenario where he would be defending his victory, like in this case, or in the worst case scenario where he would be the petitioner in the Supreme Court.
As a legal team, we were always on our toes for everything. We had been collecting every document that we needed was in place, and we knew that either we were going to have to defend a petition or that we might have to file one. So it was not a question of getting caught off guard.
Shughuli ya kuchakura ushahidi uliowasilishwa na pande zote mbili ilikuwa ni kibarua. Ilihitaji bidii ya mchwa kupekua stakabadhi zote zilizowasilishwa mahakamani.
We divided people into various teams, and we asked them to each review the petition and come up with the issues. We then came down to 32 issues, and then we divided people into teams of 32 teams. Each team was looking at one issue each, and they were to prepare the arguments, the law, the response, and so on.
I would tell you that for the 2 weeks that That is from the period between when the first petition was filed to the date when the matter was heard. We were working for over 18 hours a day.
Mojawapo ya masuala muhimu katika mahakama ya upeo ilikuwa iwapo tume ya IEBC iliendesha uchaguzi kwa kufuata katiba, haswa baada ya maswali kuibuliwa kuhusu uhalali wa matokeo yaliyotangazwa na mwenyekiti Wafula Chebukati baada ya makamishna wanne wakiongozwa na naibu wake Juliana Cherera na makamishna Justus Nyang'aya, Irene Masit na Francis Wanderi kutofautiana na matokeo yaliyotangazwa na mwenyekiti wao.
And I don't think the four commissioners really were being patriotic, because that moment would have easily, sparked something that we would all have regretted as a country.
But are we to nullify an election on the basis of a last-minute boardroom rapture, the details of which remain scanty and contradictory between the chairperson of the commission and some of its members?
Mawakili walikosoa majaji 7 wa mahakama ya upeo wakiongozwa na Jaji Mkuu Martha Koome kuhusiana na walivyoangazia maswala, haswa jukumu la mwenyekiti wa tume ya IEBC na tume kwa jumla.
So we expected this case to revolve and turn on the issue of whether Chebukati, as the returning officer, was justified in making that declaration in the absence of the other 4 commissioners.
If they said that it's the responsibility of the chairman, independent of the commission, now I will say then you've lost it. But to justify, they said it is the responsibility of the commission and not the chairman. And then they say in the particular case, despite the 4 commissioners saying they didn't do it, the Supreme Court says they actually did it, that they all verified and tallied the results. So that is an oxymoron.
Sarakasi na vitimbi zilisheheni kotini, huku raia mmoja wa Venezuela, Jose Camargo, akipata umaarufu humu nchini kwa kutajwa kama mhusika mkuu wa ulaghai kwenye uchaguzi huo.
We were told we forged these documents. Now this is how, my lord, the staging was happening. This is how the changes were happening. This is on the 9th of August. We were told they were not there. That name, Jose Camargo Gregorio, appears in our petition.
We were in court during the last day, and everyone did their presentation. Then the Soweto moment came, and she was sensational. She was passionate, just relying on one document, and everyone had been looking for this Jose Camargo that they had so passionately presented on, and she went on a live demo. I wish you were there to see the look on Siniangatia's face. And he looked at her and says, I told you guys, it could not just have gone that smoothly. I knew they had something up their sleeves. So luckily, IBC this time around had very good lawyers, and they were able to retrieve that form and give a very convincing answer on why Jose Camargo's name was still being seen at the portal.
The name Jose Camargo on that form is an overlay. Jose Camargo, the register of the QR code, that was printed by Smartmatic International, and it was printed in the name of Jose Camargo.
So somebody was saying that the Camargo in the system is like a plumber fixing the pipes in a building. So we've reduced the presidential petition to be about plumbers. I was like, wait a minute. So plumbers are meant to stay permanently on a fixture? No. So I was like, I'm going to tell him, no, plumbers are supposed to leave. But I never thought before that I was going to tie it to a sexual offender.
Baada ya siku 14, mahakama ya upeo ilitangaza mustakabali.
We declare the election of the first respondent as president-elect to be varied under Article 143 of the Constitution.
Tunapokunja jamvi hili ya awamu hii, je, kuna lolote la kukumbuka au kujifunza?
I think in terms of any gains that we had made, about how to conduct a constitutional, an election that adheres to the Constitution. I think that doesn't exist anymore. I think that's done. And it's very clear that everything Maraga had ever achieved, Koome has wiped out.
I bet if this judgment went the other way, they would not have said that. Because in 2017, they got the same people who lost in this election had their way in 2017, and they did not even, want to benefit from that judgment.
It's not just enough for courts to nullify elections. Courts should start giving sanctions to election officials who mishandle elections. I believe once we do that, people will start taking their roles seriously.
Kila baada ya miaka 5 ambapo Wakenya wanakwenda uchaguzini, imekuwa itikadi kujiandaa kwa sarakasi, vipindi na sinema, mawakili wakiwa wahusika wakuu kwenye tamthilia ya kupinga matokeo ya uchaguzi katika mahakama ya upeo.
We've reduced it to Mimi's childhood game of picky ponky.
Serfine Achieng Ouma, runinga ya Citizen.